Can everybody please clap? The field of yoga, science is looking not only at the heart of the human being, but also at its mind and spirit, and is trying to develop a perfectly integrated personality, not only for an individual, but for the whole of mankind. These were the words of revered Swami Kaivalyadham Ji, our founder, because of whom we are here today. The first to take yoga to the lab and to not only prove its benefits and multi-dimensional usage, but to show and embody how truly one can lead a yogic lifestyle. Before Swamiji left for the heavenly abode, he left behind a very important message. And that message was, I have brought up this institution out of nothing. If it goes to nothing, I don't mind. But yoga should not be diluted. He left this message with his student and disciple, who is today our guiding force, our managing trustee, Dr. O.P. Tiwari Ji. We bow down to Swamiji and to Tiwari Ji and seek their blessings as we commence the program for today. Namaste and a very warm welcome to all of you to the 90th Foundation Day celebrations of Kaivalyadham Mumbai. Can we please have a huge round of applause? All the programs we conduct at Kaivalyadham start with the recitation of the Shanti Path. It is a long-standing tradition of Kaivalyadham to start any program with this mantra. So I request all of you to sit upright. Gently close your eyes. And if you know the mantra, please chant along with me. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We will now have the Deep Prajwalan, known as the Deepak, Jyoti or Jyot, which represents Agni. The lighting of a lamp removes darkness, ignorance, unhappiness, spreading the Almighty's grace and divine energy in the surroundings. Light also symbolizes abundance, prosperity, and knowledge. The lighting of an oil or ghee lamp is regarded as bowing down to knowledge, where the oil or the ghee lamp in the lamp denotes our vices. The cotton wick is the symbolism of the ego of a person. When the oil or ghee lamp is lit, the vices demolish and the ego drives away or drains out. The flame of the lamp goes in an upward direction, which signifies that one should obtain in a way that uplifts oneself to do higher deeds. Requesting Joint Director Shri Ravi Dixit Ji to escort our Honourable Chief Guest Justice Sadhana S Jadhav Ji and Joint Director Research Kaivalyadham Lonavala Professor Shri R.S. Bhogal, along with the President for today's function Shri Dinesh Panjwani Ji, to kindly light the lamp. Thank you. Today we have with us a very special personality. Ladies and gentlemen, the chief guest for today's program, the Honourable Justice Srimati Sadhana Jadhav. Justice Jadhav was born in Solapur, educated in Pune, attending the Fergusson College and Pune University to obtain a bachelor's and master's degree in political science. She then studied at the Symbiosis College of Law under the University of Pune and initially practiced at the Aurangabad bench of the Bombay High Court before practicing in Mumbai. At the time, she had appeared as a special counsel for the Airport Authority of India and the Cement Corporation of India. On the 23rd of January 2012, she was appointed as a judge of the Bombay High Court and has been serving in the same capacity ever since. Justice Jadhav has been the judge in a number of notable cases concerning criminal offences, including the case of Sheena Bora, the Shakti Mills case, the Gulshan Kumar case, to name a few. Now, there was a small anecdote that Ravi ji asked me to share when introducing you, ma'am, and that is that when Kaivalyadham proposed to teach yoga to the juvenile children in the remand homes of Dongri, ma'am had instantly supported the initiative. She said yes, she graced the inauguration program, and she made sure that the teaching and the classes, that the initiative that is being taken up goes forward smoothly. And ma'am, we're very happy to inform you that the classes have been going on. And regularly the classes are going on, and without any stop, the children are learning.
We are also very happy.
Absolutely. So without any further ado, I now request our Honourable Trustee Shri Dinesh Panjwani ji to kindly felicitate Justice Sadhana Jadhav and welcome her on behalf of the Kaivalyadham Mumbai family. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Our second special guest and keynote speaker for today's program, Professor Shri R.S. Bhogal ji. Professor Bhogal is currently serving as the Joint Director for Research at Kaivalyadham Lonavala. He brings with him more than 30 years of experience in research and teaching. He is the editor-in-chief of the Yog Mimamsa, the biannual scientific journal of Kaivalyadham, and the author of 7 books, which are Psychophysiology of Traditional Yoga, Yoga and Modern Psychology, Yoga and Mental Health and Beyond, and Yoga Psychology and Beyond, to name a few. Previously, Professor Bhogal has also served as a principal of the Yoga College of Kaivalyadham Lonavala. He is credited with a large number of scientific papers and is a recipient of many national and international awards and accolades. He has widely traveled to spread the message of classical meditation in many countries across Asia, Europe, and America, and he is especially popular for his Kriya Yoga workshops. I would now like to request our Joint Director, Shri Ravi Dixit Ji, to kindly felicitate him and welcome him on behalf of the Kaivalyadham Mumbai family. As we are running a little tight on our schedule, I would also like to quickly take the opportunity to introduce our president for today's function. Honourable Trustee, Professor Shri Dinesh Panjwani ji has been associated with Kaivalyadham for over the last 2 decades. He is an educationist by profession who has been serving the industry for nearly 5 decades as a professor, a teacher, a guide, and a mentor. He was the principal of the Srimati CHM College in Ulhasnagar from 2000 to 2009, followed by being the principal of the RD National College, Bandra from 2009 to 2017. In 2018, Sir became the secretary of the HSNC board And in 2020, he became the first Vice Chancellor of the newly formed cluster university, the HSNC University, comprising of HR College, KC College, and Bombay Teachers Training College. The board and the university continues to make strides with Sir as a guiding force, and we here are happy to say that we have Sir in a similar capacity. Thank you very much, Sir, for being with us. You're a member of the Kaivalyadham family and a very integral part of it. So thank you. So, the journey of Kaivalyadham Mumbai completes 90 years today. 90 glorious years of service. It has been a tremendous journey. And to briefly take us through that journey, I would now like to invite somebody who has been here for 40 of those 90 years, none other than our Joint Director, Shri Ravi Dixit Ji.
I bow down to Swamiji, Honourable Shri Tiwari Ji, before I start my short speech. I think since morning we have been discussing in the Trust Board with all the dignitaries, doctors and friends that even good things, even discipline can sometimes give you stress. So I thought, okay, let me begin with relieving stress. Let me begin with something which will heal you, relax you. Before I move on, I won't take 9 hours or 9 days for 90 years, which I should, but I'll take 9 minutes. But before that, let's close eyes for 2 minutes. Please close your eyes. Sit upright. And let's learn simple technique how to heal, rejuvenate, relax yourself. Eyes are closed. Smile on your face. And let's breathe slow, deep and long. This process of slow, deep, long breathing in and out, keeping eyes closed, smile on the face will stimulate your longest nerve called the vagus nerve, and that will help and activate your parasympathetic system, which is responsible for all the good things in body and mind. So let's do this for 2 minutes. So remember, smile. Smile more, smile. कंजूसी मत करिए, मुस्कुराइए. आंखें बंद रखिए. सांस लंबा गहरा लीजिए. इससे बहुत अच्छा जादू होता है, मिरेकल होता है, which is vagus nerve gets stimulated, and that helps your parasympathetic system to activate, which is responsible for healing, repair and rejuvenation. We will just take 2 minutes more so that science takes its time to make you feel happy, healthy and wealthy. So remember this technique. Whenever stress or free or anyway, as a ritual, 3 times a day, how doctors give you medicine morning, afternoon, evening, same medicine I am giving you from Kaivalyadham. Smile on your face, close your eyes and breathe slow, deep and long, and it should be happy breathing. This is wonderful. I can see all of you are really doing it well, trying to stimulate your vagus nerve. It does. It may take 4 minutes. It may take, in some cases, 6 minutes, or maybe 8 or 10 minutes. But it does. It works. All right. Slowly, gently, open your eyes. We have less time, so I will say my 90 years of Kaivalyadham in short. The first thing, which is evergreen quote of Swamiji, is yoga has a complete message for human body. It has a message for human body, mind, soul, and this message is universal, and it is applicable even now, and I'm sure it is going to be applicable more in future as well. Swamiji started actually work in the field of yoga in 1917. But that time he did not register or went for anything legal. He kept on working till 21 and started research, because Swamiji was very much keen to know why and how these things help us or affect us. So he took yoga to lab and started working sincerely and tried to find out why and how of every practice of yoga. So by 21 he started setting things in Lonavala Kaivalyadham, which is there, and by 1924 he published very first magazine called Yog Mimamsa, and established officially legally Kaivalyadham in 1924. Actually, we have completed more than 100 years, but officially, legally, we will complete in next year. Next means 23 and 24. After that, he used to have Mumbaikar coming to Swamiji in Lonavala. And Swamiji realized that, yoga is getting popular. Mumbaikars said, Swamiji, please bless us, oblige us, and open something in Mumbai. Swamiji agreed, and he opened a branch here in 1932. And then again, yoga became popular, activities were happening. But before that, let me tell you what really happened before 32. There were many big names from Mumbai and India who were learning from Swamiji. And there were many judges, even those days. I will quote few names. Justice Kania, Justice Bhagwati, and Justice Niyogi in 28 and 30s. So we have very close association with judiciary. And then also in 1928, there were many big names who were learning yoga from Swamiji. And those big names are Lal Bahadur Shastri, Nehru ji, Indira ji, Abdul Kalam ji, Baba Saheb Ambedkar, who went to Lonavala, stayed 1 week. He had a migraine problem. He stayed there. Swamiji gave him therapies and treatment through yoga and naturopathy, and he stayed there and got relief from this problem. And there are many other more names, even some Raja, Maharaja, Nizam. So there were many, many people who were learning from him in 30s. You can imagine. Now we have fast technique and we can just, online yoga is so popular nowadays. But those days, reaching to Lonavala was not that easy. Reaching letter to Gandhiji or coming letter from Gandhiji to Lonavala took months, weeks. That kind of work, hard work, Swamiji and our whole Kaivalyadham team of those days have been doing. So 32 we opened here, and then Swamiji realized that, okay, now things are getting better and people are doing yoga, but we should have professional trained teachers. So he started professional 2-year course called Yog Pravist in Kaivalyadham Lonavala. And that course started doing very well. Initially we had few members, as I am told by Honourable Shri Ji, but then slowly it became popular, and by 50s, 51 or so, Swamiji applied for permission to the Government of India and state government, and we were given special school status on permanent basis, who could teach various diploma courses from 61 onward. And then yoga became more popular and therapy became more popular. So Swamiji, very first hospital, which is called Yogic Hospital, opened in Lonavala in 61. So Swamiji has been doing actually unique things which have been very first in the world, like research magazine in 24, opening various branches from 32, 36 onward, then launching the yoga courses, getting permission from the Government of India, and then having yogic hospital. And then after all this hard work, Swamiji took Mahasamadhi in 1966. And then when he left to heaven, he held hand of Honorable Shri O.P. Tiwari Ji and said that I have brought up this institute out of nothing. If it goes to nothing, I do not mind, but yoga should not be diluted. And that's what we all have been following in Kaivalyadham. So 66 onward, Honorable Shri Tiwari Ji took charge of activities and increased the span pan-India. He went to various places for camps, courses, which you see on TV nowadays for the last 20, 30 years. But Kaivalyadham has been doing from 70 onwards. We used to conduct camps in Chennai at that time it was, now Madras, Bhopal, Rajkot, Delhi, and various other cities. And then 80 onward, we started conferences. We started international conferences. And mid-80, we started even the courses in Mumbai, certificate, diploma, and so on. So we have been doing a lot of activities, but Swamiji never believed in name and fame or money. He just said, go work hard, things will automatically move on. So you will not see Swamiji's picture doing any posture or any research, but he didn't want his name and fame. So Swamiji worked that way, followed Yam Niyam. He was real true Karma Yogi, scientist, philosopher, and so on. To know more about him, I suggest all the yoga lovers must have, this book which we just gave to all our guests, his biography. Those who haven't read it, please take it from our reception. The list is endless. There are many, many activities which I could go on. I thought I should not forget, so I have written certain points, because this is the moment where Swamiji have done such a great work, and we have only 9 minutes to talk. So 90 years can't be summed up in 9 minutes. But let me give you a few more points which are really important. We all know pandemic happened 2 years ago, and everything was really in problem, a complete shutdown. But Kaivalyadham didn't shut down. We started activities online. And online means we worked more. Lonavala and Mumbai, we worked harder. We did at least 8 to 10 classes a day. Everything was locked down, but we continued classes. Our whole team was working hard. We also did a lot of services to various, city like Mumbai Police, BMC, Charity Commissioner, Income Tax Commissioner, Collector Office, and even Judiciary of 3 states, which you are aware of. And so we have been continuing this activity since two years or so now. And recently, as already you have been mentioned, that Ma'am was so prompt. She visited Kaivalyadham on holiday. It was holiday, but she said, I've just come to visit Kaivalyadham and do yoga. We happened to talk about doing some service to society and some to children and elderly. So she said, okay, we have this remand home for juvenile children. Can you start? I said, yes. So both were so positive. We talked, say, 27th of Feb or March, I think. Within 3-4 days, all was planned. We went there. We had 2 judges, honorable judges of High Court, to inaugurate the function, and around 100 children were doing their yoga. Kaivalyadham also gave 100 yoga mats as a donation, and it was a wonderful program, and it has been going on. Thank you so much, madam, for this kind of gesture, and Kaivalyadham continued. Let me quickly brief about what Kaivalyadham plans are, what we're doing here. We have a lot of academic activities. We do certificate course, diploma, MA, weekend, weekday. We are also planning to open a branch in Alibag, which is at Narangi. And you all know we have various therapies, Panchkarma and naturopathy, beside yoga. Online classes we are doing anyway, which you also know. And there are a lot of activities which I can go on talking, but I think we have short time and everybody is busy. So I won't talk much. I'll take your leave for a while now, but I'm here all day. I stay here, work here. Feel free to discuss more, know more about Kaivalyadham. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, all of you, to be here. And I will take leave. Namaste to all of you.
Thank you so much, sir, for that insightful 90-year trip in 9 minutes. I think you tried your best to be brief, and I think it was quite brief, even then covering all the important points and important events that have taken place over the last 90 years. Moving on, I would now like to invite Professor Shri R.S. Bhogal Ji to deliver the keynote address. Can we please have a huge round of applause for sir?
Namaskar to everyone. I can see many faces I can recognize. So it is homecoming after 2 years, because I always hold Kaivalyadham Mumbai as my second home. And once I enter here, I feel a kind of energy. And thank you for inviting me here. So atmospheres, sultry environment, and a kind of vibing unlike whatever is outside. Swami Kolananji was having spirituality, and I will speak about one particular characteristic of spirituality. There are 5. I will not tell about 4 other spirituality, the points of spirituality, but just one, and that is Isha Swarup. Isha Swarup means when you are good, you want to make others good. Be and make. So that was the spirit Swamiji having. And then he thought that he wanted Kaivalya himself. Therefore, he created Kaivalyadham. And when he met Swami Madhav Das Ji inspired him that you can get Kaivalya yourself. But what about scores of people, those who are crying for someone to wipe their tears In those days, we were under British subjugation. So he then decided, with the inspiration of Madhav Ji, to do something in yoga research. Unless you do something in research or in yoga, and that too scientific research in yoga, people will not get rid of some kind of misconception injected within the psyche of Indian people, I'm sorry, from the British Empire. You see, until 100 years back, there was no English version available of Bhagavad Gita. Can you imagine? It is because of the Macaulay policy. Of course, there are some good things are also there, but they did everything that we forget all our culture and all yoga and all everything. Therefore, Madhav Das Ji inspired him to do something for greater good of Indian population, because we were under foreign subjugation. So we need to get prepared for freedom. Even if we get independent, but then if you are not prepared for it, if you are half-cooked, like Aurobindo, he was a freedom fighter, but then he came out of that spirit of freedom fighting and then established this institution so that he can inject some kind of very, very spiritual virus in the people so that they are prepared, and the means for that is yoga. Yoga is the means. He wanted a kind of social renaissance, and the medium was yoga, and that too scientific yoga, because in those days we had many misconceptions. For example, all leading scientists were thinking that Nauli and Udyan will be giving you antiperistalsis, and therefore it would create constipation rather than relieve constipation. He wanted to prove them correct thing or wrong by having some experiment, and Madhav Das vacuum, he named that instrument after the name of his master, Swami Kolananji. And then he demonstrated very convincingly that it is negative pressure created in the colon that sucks water through Basti instrument, and not it is the antiperistalsis. And now also we can demonstrate here with Danda Dhoti, and with Danda Dhoti, what happens, the internal organs are, when you are having your Nauli and Udyan, negative pressure is created inside, and that is instrumental in sucking water inside, and also the milk, because we cannot show Basti, and therefore we show Danda Dhoti, and then when the through tube, this demonstration is often done in Kaivalyadhama. When Jawaharlal Nehru came here, he saw that, and he was so much, and he wrote that this experiment is just like any good experiment in the whole world. So that was the compliment he gave, and truly so. So now, after Swamiji, there are so many other things he had demonstrated without any shade of doubt that yoga has got scientific basis, and the tradition is our storehouse. Traditionally fit and scientifically correct. Practices only would help us, because people need evidences. After that, our Dr. O.P. Tiwari ji was direct disciple of Swami Madhav Ji, and also later on with Swami Kolananji. And he had given the required push to Kaivalyadhama through various institutions he had erected, and in foreign land, and here also. And here we are having Kaivalyadhama flourishing like anything. Now there are three things required for COVID pandemic, for pre-diabetic conditions. We have already one experiments going on, and then we have wonderful results there on, say, effect of yoga on averting diabetes, type 2, and also correlating them with the genetic expressions, gene expressions. Now, we have got yet, at this moment, we are writing to Ayush the report, and we got wonderful results that the genetic expression has been seen, so that we can not only postpone the onset of diabetes type 2, but we can also avert if proper kind of things are given. Now, this would give a kind of push to us, to our spirit. And then we are now going to have one module. So far we were using the module given by Government of India. But now we are venturing to have our own module because we have got some good results. So though we say, and we are in position to now dictate that if we have this kind of module, well, diabetes would have wonderful good days and it would go probably. And because already 2025, people say that we are going to be, diabetic capital of the world. Now, for that, we need to have three things. So far, when COVID symptoms are there, what we do? We treat people from the viewpoint of, intensive management strategy. Intensive management strategy, but we need holistic management strategy, whereby we need to have three-tier system. Number one, we need to take care of our Annamaya Kosha and the first. That is, whatever is needed for us in Ayurveda, in naturopathy, and in yoga, so that our body, holistic body system enhancement is possible. But then the modern system is giving emphasis on body system, efficiency. Body system efficiency is needed. This is number one. Later on, we need to have the second tier is we need to have energy dynamics. And for that, Vedic physiology is required. That is when, and we have to develop that. Because structure and function in Vedic physiology, they are interpenetrated. And that is the need of the hour. Why? Because we need to do something for our energy dynamics of the body, a pranic dynamic. Now, it is neglected nowadays in modern system of management of COVID and the after effect of COVID. This system is to be given a greater encouragement. So that is through pranayama and other practices, meditation like Kriya Yoga and other things, so that the energy dynamics is coming in the purview of science, and we will be able to have very strong evidence-based modules that is required. So pranic dynamics. The third tier of the system is, third thing is that we need to do something for spirituality. What spirituality is? So one aspect I have already shared. The other four I will share you whenever you come to Kaivalyadham. So this is, and how we have to do, our research, the future research should address this problem of having some modules for spiritual journey through yoga practices. And that is yet missing. And we are there to look after it. Because you know that what is spirituality? Everything in quarantine situation, what has happened? Anxiety is there. What has happened? And then we have sleep disorders. Now here the medicines are given by doctors and hypnotic suggestions are given. But then what happens? It gives suppressed kind of respiratory system. Suppressed respiratory system. So you have some problem with your breathing and it will not go. Many people, those who are having, they are fighting with symptomatic, relief with the help of modern medicine. They say that we have some problem still with our breathing, and then Now, this will linger on, and for that we need energy dynamics, that is pranic, but we need to have proper modules created. This is a kind of futuristic approach, and we are doing something there at Kaivalyadhama also in Mumbai. And now the third thing is, we have many, symptoms. Say, this is chronic symptoms are there. And then these symptoms can be addressed very properly with the help of very good modules of pranayama. It has been seen that we have such kind of practices which are very simple, but the input of spirituality is there in it, and how to ingrain experiential aspect, how to ingrain in that, it is quite necessary. And for that, spiritual kind of, the third of the three-tier system is our spirituality. Now, spiritual kind of thing should also be ingrained in how that is a challenge before us. So, and we are doing something with this challenge. And so these three things, body system, and then pranic system, that is energy system, and the third is spiritual system. If we do this, then only we can have the holistic treatment given to COVID survivors, and also those who have only symptomatic relief, but then still so many problems are lingering. So thank you. We are looking forward to panel discussion, and so there we will express in a most, say, relaxed way, rather than in a very much quick way, and so many things just put in one plate. So thank you very much for patient listening. Thank you.
I would now like to invite our Honourable Trustee, Shri Dinesh Panjwani Ji, to kindly deliver his address.
I express my gratitude on behalf of the Kaivalyadham Trust Board to Honourable Justice Madam for sparing your valuable time early morning, even though you have got a commitment and you are going out of Mumbai. Thank you, Madam, for accepting our invitation. Mr. Ravi Dixit started with stress. Our Bhogal ji also said that he will continue in a relaxed manner. So he might also have been in some stress while speaking. But my work has been made very, very easy by my earlier speakers. They have not left anything for me to speak about Kaivalyadham. So all my speech which I had prepared has been covered by the earlier speakers. So what is left with me is that my association with Kaivalyadham. My association with Kaivalyadham has not started 20 years ago. It has started almost 30 years ago. As we have been talking about yoga as a lifestyle, so I was not very young, maybe in the middle age, 92, 93. Yeah, still I think around 35, 36 years of age. So lifestyle was difficult. So I suffered from gastroenteritis, 3rd degree. And Mr. Subodh Tiwari was my student at KC College during those days. I was hospitalized, lost my weight, 10 kgs in 3 days, put on the liquid diet. So when he came back, he was in Mauritius. He came back, he listened, he heard about me, he came to pick me up. And that was the first time that I went to Kaivalyadham Lonavala. I was unable to walk properly. So I stayed, I think, there for 4 or 5 days. It was a rainy season, I still remember. Every morning he will come, he will take me to the walk. But by 5th day, I was on my feet. Whereas when he brought me to Kaivalyadham, he picked me up from the home, but while dropping, he dropped me at the sign and said, "Sir, you take rickshaw and go to the..." I was staying in the college accommodation. So what I'm talking about is the divinity which you experience when you come to the Kaivalyadham, whether it is Lonavala or whether it is Mumbai. You experience some kind of different kind of aura and calmness that relaxes you very much. Talking about Kaivalyadham, whenever I visit and I meet Tiwari ji and Subodh, they all speak about their, not experience, they are living with the yoga, and Kaivalyadham ji, Digambranand ji, and unfortunately we lost our Swami ji recently. And I had a fortunate to interact with Swami ji also. On this occasion, I also remember when I became the member of the trust board, there were legends in the trust board, Tiwari ji, Dhanuka ji, Gupta ji. And whenever you interacted with them, you really felt that, though I've been the teacher for several years, but whenever you had an opportunity to interact with such legendary, you always learn. So I remember on this occasion, Gupta ji, Dhanuka ji, who are not with us, but their guidance and their blessings are with us. This is also an occasion to express our gratitude to the patrons of this Kaivalyadham, whether it is Lonavala, whether it is Mumbai. Because whenever Tiwari ji talked about Kaivalyadham, he always said that these institutions have been built for propagating yoga among the masses. And that is what this institution should always strive to reach out every time they get opportunity. And I appreciate our justice gesture of inviting Kaivalyadham to the people who need it desperately. And I'm sure that under the guidance of Ravi Dixit, this will grow repeatedly. I also take this opportunity to express the gratitude of the trust board to the staff of this institution under the leadership of Ravi Dixit, that they are serving and spreading the cause of yoga. So this has been my experience with Kaivalyadham. Whenever I feel unwell, whenever I feel that my stress is converting into the tension, I go to the Kaivalyadham. Because I feel that yoga somewhere, stress, I don't think that it is possible to do away with in our life. But only thing is this, that stress should never be converted into the tension. In a lighter note, I will say, when I was the principal of CHM College, it's the biggest college of the University of Mumbai with 12,000 students, 500 teaching, non-teaching staff. So it was a problematic, and that's why my management deputed me over there. So I used to travel every day from Mumbai to Ulhasnagar. It was around those days, around 2.5 hours of journey. So of that 2 hours, 2.5 hours, half an hour I used to plan that what kind of work and stress I'm going to give to my staff. So I used to plan, I used to reach, I used to assign the work, I'll shout at 1 or 2 staff members, 2-3 students, so the people should know that I have arrived. And after that half an hour, the whole day I used to be relaxed. They used to be under stress, I used to be relaxed. So I used to not convert my stress into the tension. Thank you for coming. And once again, my gratitude to the madam.
Thank you so much to all three of us, sirs, and of course, finally, Panjwani sir, for sharing his connection with Kaivalyadham. Now, moving on and keeping time in mind, we have the best for the last, as they say, our honorable chief guest to deliver her address. So, ma'am, the stage is yours. Let's clap.
At the threshold, I would seek blessings from Swamiji, although I have not been connected with Kaivalyadham for a very long time. But if this is the bliss which I can experience in such a short while, I would stop wondering why I see such smiling faces on a Saturday morning. I'm thankful to Shri Dixit Ji. I remember the day. It was the demise of our great singer Lata Mangeshkar, and therefore a holiday was declared for mourning the death of the great singer. And I don't know what prevailed over me, probably some great blessings, that I requested one of our colleague judge that let us go and visit Kaivalyadham. And that is how I came here for the first time. And when I met him, I said, see, I'm the chairman of the Juvenile Justice Board of Maharashtra, and we are running an observation home where there are almost 100 children, 50 who are in need of protection and care, and 50 children who are juveniles in conflict with law. And I said, I want to do something for them. Mental peace is more important because these children tend to get violent and all that. He immediately sprung into action, and the reaction that I got from him was amazing. He said, yes, we can start it immediately. And I would not put it in days, but in 72 hours, we had inaugurated the course for the children in need of protection and care. What more I can say about this? Even in the morning, I wanted to tell all of you that in such a short while, even when I came here, the bliss that you feel, the aura, the ambience of this institution is not by the walls or the furniture, but the inner peace that comes. And if I can do this in such a short while, what it must be for a longer time. So today, on this occasion, 90th Vardhapan Din, I would declare that once I retire, I will turn my feet towards Kaivalyadham. As you all know, we are the people who go through stress. And that is not our own stress. That is the worst thing. This stress is for the litigants, for the society. And it naturally comes when matters come to us. We start thinking, why is all this happening? Why the society is so disturbed? We take this kind of stress and we want to do our best. But we can do our best if we are at peace, if our mind is able to work. So on the first day, I told Mr. Dixit, I have trouble in having a peaceful sleep. And today on this occasion, I would thank Dr. Shetty. She has given me acupressure for 1 week. Of course, I was a little bit an erratic patient, so who used to come sometimes at 5 o'clock, sometimes at 5:30, sometimes at 6 p.m. after my court hours. But it really helped me, and thank you for all that. So this is the kind of feeling that I'm getting ever since I'm hearing all of you, all three of you. And this really helps us. Today, one thing I would like to say, normally they say, before you proceed to the heavenly abode, you should do Chardham. I would say if you want to do Chardham at the end, first visit Kaivalyadham. And then maybe people like me are actually able to travel to that Chardham and see what is the bliss there. All these complications. Now, since I have introduced this to the children in need of protection and care, I feel it's not only the children. Insecurity is there within each one of us. Many a times we don't know what is the kind of insecurity we are going through. Either it is for ourselves, for the people who are close to us, maybe for the society, maybe even because of what is happening in the society, the political affront and all that. But then whatever kind of stress it may be, ultimately what it happens is it reflects on your body. So at that time, we would recollect what Sant Kabir had said, Mati ka mandir, pavan ka khamba. So this is what, but if that structure has to be strong. Today I was telling all of them in the morning that many people used to come to me and advise me, you will end with all your trouble. Once you start pranayam, see how you feel. And I was tired of hearing this from everyone, practically most of them. So one day I dared to ask one person as to how long do you do pranayam? And he said, sorry madam, but I don't find time. But I tell everybody that you should do it. I don't know how you feel, but I tell everybody that you should do it. So I said, this answer you may get from many people. So now I would tell all such people that if you want to find time, take a week off and go to Kaivalyadham at Lonavala, which I have planned to go soon after my retirement. This is, time constraint is there with all of us. Now, another question is, most of the times there was a misconception that what is yoga? It's only a type of exercise. Something, the physical training which you get in school, the physical training. But then gradually, I have done yoga some 4 years ago. I used to have an instructor because that time I didn't know much about Kaivalyadham. And I used to do yoga and I realized that no, it is not just shaking of hands and legs and stretching them to, to feel better. I looked at it as an yoga of the breath and the body. And at that time, when I spoke about this to Justice Dhanuka, he said, I've been telling you so many days that you should go to Lonavala and stay there for a week. And you are not finding time. I said, none of us are finding time. That is the whole difficulty. But then, it's not necessary to find time. I think we have to take time. Like today I could see, and I'm really sorry to all three of you that I kept the time constraint. And therefore I couldn't hear much from Mr. Bhogal or Mr. Dixit, Mr. Panjwani. I couldn't hear much from them. I'm really sorry for keeping the time constraint. But I have to really leave Bombay for another inauguration at Nagpur in a short while. And therefore, I had kept the time constraint. And I had decided that I will, since charity begins at home, let us see how I can find time and take time. So I managed the time. And I'm really thankful. I'm thankful to all of you, to all the doctors of Kaivalyadham, to Shri Dixit, Shri Panjwani ji, Shri Bhogal ji, that they have given me an opportunity to open my eyes to a great institute like Kaivalyadham. And this is all what I would say, and say thank you to all of you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would like to say, while ma'am was speaking, I got the thought that it was so fitting that ma'am spoke last because she's a judge and she delivered her judgment after hearing everyone else speak. So I think that was wonderful that ma'am, best for last and judgment also for last. Yes. Yes, yes, absolutely. So let's have a round of applause for ma'am. First of all, for sparing her time. And despite having a tight schedule, she said she took time out to come here. And we're really grateful for that, ma'am. We move to the end now of the part 1 of today's session. The inaugural function has ended. And to conclude formally, I would like to call upon Shweta Chheda from our team to deliver a thank you note. Shweta.
Thank you so much, Anvay. Well, we all know that we all are always short of time. But the best part that we have learned at Kaivalyadham through our joint director is the 3 Ds of life. That is devotion, dedication, and discipline. We could see all these 3 Ds with our dignitaries today. Even though they have tight schedules, they have other commitments, they were dedicated to Kaivalyadham. They were disciplined to ensure that the cancellation does not take place, and the devotion showed in her speech. I would like to thank her very much for sparing this time for us. I would like to thank our Trustee Panjwani sir for being here for us on the 90th Foundation Day function. Bhogal sir for always being there for us, for any discourse, any lectures, specific research discussions. We would like to just end the part 1 here. We will again continue within a few minutes with our team of doctors. So officially thanking them all once again. And due to their commitments, they're taking leave, but the remaining team will be here to enlighten us more about yogic journeys, specifically for people who have suffered with COVID or people who have pre-diabetic and their journeys and how yoga is going to help them. So thank you once again, everybody.